This is a GCSE presentation looking at the structure of the digestive system. In front of you see several organs from around the human body, and all you have to do is work out what the name of each of the organs is and then which ones are part of the digestive system. So pause the presentation now and see how many you can get the names of, which ones are part of the digestive system, and when you're ready you can restart the presentation. So pause the video now. So number 1 is the heart, number 2 is the brain, number 3 is the stomach, 4 is the large intestine, 5 is the pancreas, 6 is the kidney, 7 is the gallbladder, 8 is the liver, 9 is the lungs, and 10 is the tooth, or a tooth. What you then have to do is identify which of them are part of the digestive system, and all of these now highlighted in red are part of the digestive system. There are other organs in the digestive system, and we're going to have a look at the structure now. The digestive system can basically be separated into two sections, the digesting part and the absorbing part. What you're looking at now is a diagram that shows all the different organs, and these ones are mostly involved with digestion. There is a little section at the start of the small intestine which is also part of digestion, which we'll talk about in the next section. But we have mechanical digestion inside the mouth with the teeth grinding up the food. We also have salivary glands producing a substance called amylase, which is an enzyme. We'll come back to the enzymes in a different presentation. But the enzymes are what speed up chemical reactions inside living organisms and as biological catalysts. And amylase breaks down a particular substance inside the mouth. We then have the long tube that connects the mouth to the stomach, which is called the esophagus. Be careful of the spelling. The American version has an E in it, the UK version has an O at the start. We then make it to the stomach. The stomach is a large container which has hydrochloric acid along with a number of other enzymes in there as well, but the hydrochloric acid is what dissolves down the large food particles into smaller food particles. Around the stomach we have what's called the pancreas, and the pancreas is responsible for producing a number of enzymes, for example insulin. We also have the liver, which is responsible for the production of bile, and we have the gallbladder, which is where bile is stored in the body until it's needed. The second stage is the absorption stage. Now, at this point, we kind of have a little overlap because the very start of the small intestines is a particular section called the duodenum. And the duodenum is the little starting section where the stomach acid that is dissolved while the food is released and mixed with a number of substances, including the bile from the gallbladder, as well as the digestive enzymes from the pancreas. And all those digestive enzymes do more digestion, and as we move through the small intestine into the ileum, we have digested food being absorbed. So the start of the small intestine is actually part of the digestion process, and it's called the duodenum. In the ileum, we have absorption of food particles, and again, we'll go through in more detail what exactly we mean by food particles and the substances we're talking about. And we also have the large intestine, which is also known as the colon. That's where water is absorbed. We have the large intestine. We have at the end a place called the rectum, which is where feces is stored. And then we eventually lead to the anus, which is where the feces basically leaves what's called the alimentary canal. And the alimentary canal is the entire tube from the mouth all the way to the anus inside the digestive system. You need to be able to name all the different parts, and you also need to be able to identify their functions. Quite often in exams, you're given diagrams similar to the one on the right of the screen, and you're asked what is the name of this, what is the name of this, what is the name of this. So you need to be able to identify them, and you also need to be able to name their function. So the purpose of the digestive system is to break down food and to absorb food. Hence we talk about kind of the digestion half of it and the absorption half of it. The purpose is to break the food down into small soluble chemicals. And the small soluble chemicals mean they can be absorbed into the blood, which then means they can be transported around the body and eventually absorbed into cells. The word metabolism, you probably have heard of before, but metabolism is how fast chemical reactions are happening inside a cell or happening inside a body. When we have food substances going into cells, specifically we have sugar in the form of glucose going into the mitochondria, and we have a chemical process known as respiration. In the chemical process respiration, mitochondria take glucose and oxygen and they convert it into carbon dioxide and water. And as a result, energy is released. We will come back to respiration again in another presentation. But the energy that gets released is used to control the rate of enzyme reactions inside the body and hence metabolism. There are two types of digestion we've mentioned already. We have the mechanical digestion, which is where we have the teeth chewing. We also have mechanical digestion with muscles around the stomach that churn the food up while it's in a bath of hydrochloric acid inside the stomach. We have chemical digestion, which is your hydrochloric acid in the stomach, but also the enzymes that occur around different parts of the body, specifically in the mouth and in the small intestine and the duodenum. So to finish off, and this is the task that you should really do, is to create a flow diagram describing the path of food as it moves through the digestive system. You need to name each of the parts and you need to name what the function of each part is. And the idea is that you eventually get to the point where you can do this from memory.